Hey everyone, Saf Tech Reviews back here with another video, and today I wanted to give my thoughts on the GPD Win 4. This is the AMD Ryzen 7 6800U model with 16 gigs of RAM and a 1080p screen. Let's dive right in. So first off, I wanted to measure the weight of the GPD Win 4, and as you can see, this console only comes in at 606.6 grams, so it's actually lighter than the ROG Ally, Steam Deck, and the Legion Go from my previous tests. So first off here, I wanted to talk about the controls on this console, starting with the analog sticks. They're quite small, but they get the job done and they serve their purpose. They just don't have a ton of travel, and you get used to them quickly. Right below that you have your D-pad, and then you have your fingerprint sensor on the left, and you have your start and select buttons on the bottom. You have your trackpad sensor on the right, which works great in desktop mode, and then you have your tiny buttons up here, which remind me a lot again of the PS Vita. Really cool thing are these rockers, which are LED lit, RGB lit. You have a power button, your sound control, USB 4.0, and a full standard USB and a headphone jack. On the bottom you have your SD card slot and the USB-C. Then you have a menu button here on the bottom right. Finally, here on the back you have your shoulder pads on the left and right. Now, one really cool thing about this console is that the screen does actually flip up, and you have a full-size keyboard here, and I really love that about this console. It's backlit. You could also toggle this backlight using the spacebar button and the function key, and I think this really makes it a great versatile console, because you could use it in the desktop with your keyboard, and when you're gaming you can either close that screen or you can pull up the keyboard if you're chatting or something like that. So I wanted to give more of an idea of the size of the GPD Win 4, and as you can see, it is quite small compared to the ROG Ally. I mean, if you just put them on top of each other here, you can see how much smaller it is. And this console is no joke, it's quite powerful, and delivers performance that's quite close to the ROG Ally. So I really love what GPD has done here. Many people mention that it's really thick, but keep in mind that screen slides up and it's not all that much thicker than the ROG Ally when you compare them side by side. So over here I wanted to show the quick resume on the GPD Win 4 and the speed of that fingerprint sensor. It works well and jumps right in the game. But I've noticed it does tend to be a little faster on the ROG Ally. So over here I'm just comparing that to the ROG Ally, and as you can see, once you touch the fingerprint sensor on the ROG Ally, the response is pretty immediate. So just wanted to quickly demonstrate the RGB lighting at the top of the GPD Win 4, and as you can see, it continues to cycle the colors, and once I get attacked and take damage, it's gonna start flashing red. So you could see that right here. So that's a pretty neat feature. Many times I was playing Elden Ring with the console muted, and once it starts flashing red, if I'm watching TV or running around in the game and not really paying attention and it flashes red, I can tell if I'm being attacked. So that's a nice neat little feature they've added here to the GPD Win 4. It's pretty nice. So on the top left here you can see I had to download this battery software that shows the battery level, because you can't really see these things quickly in the GPD Win 4 like you can with the Asus ROG Ally or the Steam Deck. Instead you have this pretty basic software, which you can see here, that allows you to control your your TDP and all that other stuff, and your fan speed. It's not really as intuitive as something like what you would get on the ROG Ally, but to be honest, it gets the job done when I need to change the settings. Next up here, I wanted to run the benchmarks on the GPD Win 4, so I have the Solar Bay benchmark here running, first at 15 watts. And as you can see, the result here is 7,883. Next up here, I'm gonna run the test at 25 watts. Alright, so the result is wrapping up here for the 25 watt test, and you can see it hit the score of 10,479. Finally, for the next test, I'm going to test the 35 watt mode, which is the highest capable wattage on the GPD Win 4 here. And we can see a slight improvement of 10,646. The ROG Ally did hit a score of over 9,000 in the 15 watt test and 11,000 in the higher 25 watt test. As for the fan noise, the GPD Win 4 has a pretty quiet fan, and I noticed that the fan runs really cool compared to the ROG Ally and the other consoles, which run really hot when you're gaming. So that's something I really like about this console. Now, one thing I don't like about the GPD Win 4 is the location of the speakers at the bottom. When you're gaming, your palms will sometimes cover the speakers and mute the sound. Here's a short demo of what this sounds like. So you kind of have to relearn how you want to hold this console when you're gaming and keep your thumbs away from the speakers, which can be quite annoying sometimes. Another thing I don't like about the GPD Win 4 is the location of the buttons on the top. The volume up button is on the left and it's very close to the power button, and if you're not looking, you'll accidentally lock the console. I do think GPD did an excellent job on this display. The viewing angles are really good. I mean, for a display, it almost seems on par with some of the best IPS displays I've seen, and you know, it barely washes out any color when you're gaming. I really like that about this console. I also appreciate how easy it is that it switches to this portrait mode. Although it might look silly, this can be nice when you're reading long forums or when you're browsing and you want to see more text, or you're reading code or anything like that. The addition of that small trackpad on the right is also always welcome. It's nice to always, type something up on that physical keyboard. It takes some getting used to, and it's easy to just browse and click around. So it really makes you feel like it's not a gaming console when you're using it in this desktop mode. It really does feel like a UMPC. So next up here, I wanted to talk a bit about battery life. In my previous tests, I did the 10 watt battery test, the 15 watt battery test, and the maximum wattage battery test. All of these tests are run playing Death Stranding, and I just pretty much charge the console up to full, and then I just run the game until the console completely dies. So here are the results. In the 10 watt test, the GPD Win 4 actually did a pretty decent job at 2 hours and 1 minute. The best was the ROG Ally at 2 hours and 13 minutes, and then afterwards the Steam Deck and the Legion Go is the worst at 1 hour and 40 minutes. Now in the 15 watt test, the GPD Win 4 got 1 hour and 30 minutes, actually beating the ROG Ally, and the Steam Deck and the Legion Go have pretty decent times. The Legion Go, I'm not sure how it's getting 2 hours and 19 minutes because I did see worse performance in 15 watts. Now cranking up the wattage to the maximum, the GPD Win 4 at 35 watts lasted 50 minutes, still beating the Ally, even though the Ally's max was at 25 watts. The Steam Deck still runs at a max of 15 watts for 1 hour and 19 minutes, and the Legion Go at 30 watts lasted 1 hour and 21 minutes. Again, I'm not sure the wattage on the Legion Go is actually accurate when you set that TDP, because the numbers don't make a lot of sense on it compared to the performance. Finally, here I wanted to talk about the charge up test. The GPD Win 4 actually beat everything else. It charged up from 0 to full in 1 hour and 30 minutes exactly, which is quite impressive. For such a small console, this thing packs quite a punch. The RG Ally was the second fastest, the Steam Deck was the slowest, and the Legion Go was somewhere in between. So my overall thoughts on the GPD Win 4 is it's in a class of its own. It's really ultra portable, it stays cool in your hand when you're gaming, the fans are very quiet, it has a full-size keyboard, the display is excellent. I mean, I can only recommend this console, it's just an amazing experience overall. Please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching.